Hey everyone. Today we're looking at linking sentences together. So instead of just having two short sentences, we can make one long sentence. There are a few different scenarios for this or how to do this depending on the ending of the first sentence. And I'm just going to run you through each of those different scenarios. So to link sentences, look at the ending of the first sentence. In this first case, if the sentence ends with a verb, change it to the te form. If you're not completely sure what the te form of the verb is, you can check out the video on that one. So we have an example sentence here. 明日は早く起きます。テニスの練習をします。So basically that sentence on its own means tomorrow I will wake up early, and the second sentence there means I will practice tennis. I will do tennis practice. So we can actually link those two things together. Instead of having two simple sentences, we can make a more complex sentence simply by changing the verb here into its te form. So we've got the example here. 明日は早く起きてテニスの練習をします。So tomorrow I'll get up early and practice tennis. So by changing this verb from its ma form into its te form, it's sort of acting like the and part in English. The second example underneath here we have みちこさんは店へ行きました。パンを買いました。So again, two simple sentences. The first sentence means Michiko went to the store, and the second sentence is she bought bread. So we can connect these two simple sentences and make one longer, more complex sentence by, again, changing the verb into its te form and attaching the second sentence. So in this case, Michikoさんは店へ行ってパンを買いました。So Michiko went to the shop and bought some bread. In our second scenario, if the sentence ends with an I adjective, we simply change the I into kute and we drop the des from the end of the sentence. So in our first example here, we have 山田さんは背が高いです。バスケットボールが上手です。So in this case, Mr. Yamada is tall and he is good at basketball. Two separate sentences. But we want to join those and make them into a more complex sentence by simply changing the I adjective into its te form. So in this case, 山田さんは背が高くてバスケットボールが上手です。So Mr. Yamada is tall and good at basketball. Again, we've gone from two simple sentences into a more complex sentence. In our second example here, あの店の寿司は美味しかったです。とっても安かったです。So again, we have two simple sentences. That store's sushi was delicious and it was very cheap. So we can change that into あの店の寿司は美味しくてとっても安かったです。Again, we've connected the two sentences by changing the ending of the first sentence. In our third scenario, if the sentence ends with a noun and des or deshta, we simply change des or deshta to de. So in our first example here, we have 父は医者です。いつも忙しいです。So dad is a doctor. He is always busy. By simply changing des into de and tacking on our second sentence as is, we can connect again two simple sentences and make one complex sentence. So 父は医者でいつも忙しいです。So dad is a doctor and always busy. In the second sentence, we have ポンペイはきれいでした。有名な町でした。So Pompeii was beautiful. It was a famous town. Again, by changing deshta to de, ポンペイはきれいで有名な町でした。We've created one more complex sentence. Now, please note that you don't need to worry about the tense of the first sentence. It will be determined by the last verb. So you'll notice in the first example here, dad is a doctor is in its present tense. And the second example, Pompeii was a beautiful and famous town, is in its past tense. However, when we've connected the two sentences, we can't tell from the first half of the sentence what tense the sentence is in yet. That relies purely on the final verb in the sentence. So you'll notice here that dad is a doctor and always busy ends with des in its present form, and Pompeii was a beautiful and famous town ends with deshta, which puts the entire sentence into past tense. Okay, so that's about all with this one. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know.